All right, everybody, what's going on? We're going to talk about the fights people want to see in each weight class. All right, this will be a two-part thing. The first part will go from we'll go up to I'll probably cut it off at lightweight, and then from lightweight to heavyweight in part two. So make sure you check both parts out. All right, first up is a matchup in the minimum weight or mini flyweight or strawweight division. Okay. Chayafan Mansouri, aka Wanhang Menayothin, 54 wins, 0 losses, 18 knockouts. All right, 54-0. And look, people don't pay attention to this smaller class or the minimum weight or what have you, whatever you want to call it, featherweight. And I get it. I understand. They don't get much coverage, but 54-0. I don't care what you say. That's an incredible feat. This guy's out there fighting people too. He's not walkovers. The fight people want to see is the Thamanoon Nyamtrong, aka Knockout CP Freshmart. All right, he's 21-0, 7 knockouts. Now, in Thailand and other countries, the fighters name themselves after the gyms or a soft drink or a candy bar or a store or whatever. So in this case, CP Freshmart store, and that's how he gets his name, Knockout CP Freshmart. And in the past, you might also remember the names Fasai Big Cola, named after Coca-Cola, the drink. You might also remember the name Fashan 3K Battery. And 3K Battery was promoted by the Thai Storage Battery Company. And so that's always been a trend to watch other very attractive, very creative names. Awesome names. And there are other ones out there, very creative. I won't get into it here, but do your research and see some real cool nicknames. There's our curse again, I tell you, as you can hear in the background. Anyway, that's right, go right past my window. There we go. So the reason why these fighters do this is because Thailand doesn't have television broadcasts and they don't have live gate revenue. So the boxers survive on sponsorships. Okay? Many of them you'll see have a sponsor's name on their shorts. And hey, everything ain't peaches and cream like we have it in the States. Alright? This is how these guys survive. So Mansouri, or Menayothin, is the WBC World Minimum Weight or Mini Flyweight or Strawweight Division Champion. Okay, he's the WBC champion. Freshmart is the WBA Super Minimum Weight or Minimum Flyweight or Strawweight Division Champion. This would be a unification between two long-standing champions. Okay, Freshmart is 29, which is approaching. Well, it's not approaching. It's old for the weight, and he's 21-0. Menayothin is 54-0, and he's 34 years old, which is ancient at this weight. Check some of these guys' fights out. These fights are fun. I mean, these guys throw punches and bunches, and there's rarely a stoppage in action or a bunch of holding in these smaller weights. They just fight. They fight their way through it. So this is a matchup that must happen, and must happen very soon. It's the fight in the division, hands down. Next up is the light flyweight or junior flyweight division. And we have the WBC world champion, Kenshiro Teraji. Okay, he's 28 years old, 17 wins, 0 losses, 10 knockouts. Nicknamed the Amazing Boy. And the matchup in this weight class to make is with WBA Super World Champion Hiroto Kawaguchi. Okay, he's 14-0, 9 knockouts. He's 28 years old also. And the thing about him is, I don't know if he has a nickname, but his nickname should be Babyface. I mean, this kid looks like he's 15 years old. If I remember, I'll leave a picture. I mean, he looks like a baby. Other guys in the mix in this weight class I like to see fight each other are there's this Nicaraguan big knockout puncher, Felix Alvarado. Okay, 35-2, 30 knockouts. And his nickname is El Gemelo. He has a 17-fight win streak, with mostly all of them being knockouts. And he's the IBF champion. So that would be a unification with either guy if he fought either of the aforementioned, if they don't unify. Also, there's this hard-punching Venezuelan guy, Carlos Canizales, 22-0-1 with 17 knockouts. And he's the WBA regular champion, whatever that means. So, if the top two guys fight each other, I'd like to see these two hard-punching, Alvarado and Canizales, fight each other. You know, maybe these two knockout guys can fight each other in a fight that probably won't last. Let's move on. In the flyweight division, Kosei Tanaka, 15 wins, 0 losses, 9 knockouts. He's 24 years old. He's the WBA World Flyweight Champion. And we want to see him take on World Flyweight Champion Julio Cesar Martinez. 16 wins, 1 loss, 12 knockouts. He's 25 years old. Both guys at the prime age for the weight. Let's get it on. If these two don't fight, you also have elder statesman Rudy Mathelane, who's 37, which is a senior citizen at this weight. Okay, he's the IBF champion and a big puncher. He's 39-2 with 26 knockouts. And there's some young guys in the division, and if they want a title shot, I would rather the top two guys, Martinez and Tanaka, fight each other, and then I'd like to see the younger champions try to unify with the old man, or younger contenders who are in line for a title shot. Okay. Also in the mix is undefeated Junto Nakatani. Okay. Hard-hitting Japanese fighters. Only 22 years old. Okay. 20 wins, 0 losses, 15 knockouts. Maybe he steps up and challenges the old man. I don't know. At 22, they may want to give him time, but then again, Marudi's 37, and I don't know if he hits 38 this year or if he turned 37 this year already. But maybe the time is now Let the 22-year-old test the water. Maybe he steps up and challenges the old man. Jay Harris is also in the mix after his surprising showing versus Martinez. That was a good battle. He hung around. People thought Martinez was going to stop him early, and he came to party. So keep your eye on Jay Harris, also in this weight class. Next up is the Super Flyweight, or Junior Bantamweight division. Look, some people want to see Wasaksil Wangek or Rasakit Sor Rungbisai rematch with the man who took his belt, Juan Francisco Estrada. Good fight. That was last year, right? Or was it earlier this year? Can't remember. Good fight though. Rungbisai lost his belt to Juan Francisco Estrada. And look, if that rematch happens, you can't lose with this fight. All right. Me, I personally want to see my main man Chocolatito. Okay, Roman Gonzalez. I want him to have his rematch with Estrada. Okay. And one thing Roman has that Sor Rungbisai doesn't have is a world title and a victory over Estrada. Okay. And I bet you Estrada, if he's asked which fight he wants more, he'll definitely say he wants to fight the Chocolate Man. Estrada's 29, and he's 40 wins, 3 losses, 27 knockouts. Gonzalez is 49 wins, 2 losses with 41 knockouts. Chocolatito will be 33 the next time he fights, more than likely. And this fight, you can't lose with this fight either. With the exception, it's a rematch. Estrada tries to avenge a loss, and it's also a title. It would be a unification because Estrada is the WBC World Superfly or Junior Bantam champion, and Gonzalez is the WBA World Super Flyweight or Junior Bantamweight champion. So there you have it. If you don't get the Estrada rematch with Rungbisai or the Estrada rematch with Gonzalez, you got in the mix that you got the IBF champion Jerwin and Cajas and the WBO champ Kazuto Ioka. Below them, you got undefeated Andrew Baloney out of Australia. He's ready for his shot. And so those are those alternative fights you can look for. But I want the Chocolatito Estrada rematch. That fight will be fire. Stay tuned. All right. Bantamweight is next. Bantamweight is up next. The fight to make at Bantamweight, and one that I hope gets done, is Naoya Inoue. 19 wins, 0 losses, 16 knockouts. He's the 26-year-old WBA and IBF Bantamweight champion, world Bantamweight champion. The fight that fans want to see is Inoue taking on undefeated hard hitter Louis Neri, who is 25 years old and has a record of 30 wins, 0 losses, 24 knockouts. He has 11 straight wins by stoppage and has stopped 16 of his last 17. This is must-see TV. And it'll be interesting to see if Inoue can't get to Neri early, how he'll handle Neri's power. This fight has to happen. It has to. If it doesn't happen right away, there's some risk out there. You got Nonito Donaire, Guillermo Rigondeaux, and Zolani Tete, all in the mix. So none of those are gimme fights, and each of those fights holds some intrigue. Maybe Dondere, I don't think he will, but maybe Dondere will want a rematch with Rigo. Tate was supposed to fight Inoue before he got injured, so he's up there in age. Rigo's up there in age. Dondere's up there in age, but they all fighting any of these guys comes with some risks. So we'll see. Bantamweight though, some good fights. Next up is the Super Bantamweight or Light Featherweight division. Okay. Don't know about the people, but the fight I want to see is WBO World Super Bantamweight or Light Featherweight champion Emmanuel Navarrete. 31 wins, 0 losses, 27 big knockouts. I want to see him take on WBC World Super Bantamweight or Light Featherweight champion Ray Vargas, who is 34-0 with 22 knockouts. That's the fight to be made. Both undefeated, both champions. Let's unify. Both got a high knockout percentage. I mean, that's the one we want. Now, there are guys waiting in the wings in this division like Tremaine Williams and Stephen Fulton. You got Isaac Dogbay, who could fight for their shots. Those would be interesting fights. You also have unified champion Murajan Akhmadaliyev. He's only 8-0, but hey, he's unified champion in this class. And he's only 8-0, but he beat 25-year-old. He's 25 years old. He beat Daniel Roman in a razor-thin decision. So now at 8-0, he now owns the IBF and WBA World Super Bantamweight or Light Featherweight titles. So you got to see him. He's a champion. Roman wants to see him again, of course, before Akhmadaliyev tries to unify with others. We'll see how it plays out, but there's some action in this division. Alright, next up is Featherweight. Since we can't trust Gary Russell Jr. as far as we can throw him, you gotta go to WBO World Featherweight Champion Shakur Stevenson. 13-0, 7 knockouts, versus undefeated IBF World Champion Josh Warrington. Now, before the fight happened, I thought Kid Galahad was going to beat Warrington. And Warrington won a razor close split decision. And Stevenson is being moved. He's precocious, shall we say. But he's being moved quickly. And listen, Warrington has beat Kid Galahad, Lee Selby, Kiko Martinez, and the Jackal, Carl Frampton. So this would definitely be a step up for Stevenson, who doesn't seem to care and wants the big names at this class and higher weights. So, and I believe him. So we'll see what happens there. I think they were in talks to make this Warrington thing happen, and so we'll see. That'll be a good challenge for both guys. But if that fight can't happen, I'd take either of these guys, Warrington or Stevenson versus Russell Jr. You also got Jesse Magdaleno in the mix, and that's a good fight for any of these three guys. And then Kid Galahad is also there. So we'll see. We'll see for sure. The last one I'll do in this video is Super Featherweight or Junior Lightweight. And there are a host of fights that can be made here. Okay, Miguel Berchelt is the man in this class. Tevin Farmer just fought Joseph Diaz Jr. or Jojo Diaz. And Leo Santa Cruz is still there despite the rumors about who he's going to fight next. And you got Carl Frampton. And you got also Oscar Valdez, who hasn't lost yet at 27-0. You have the guy Rakimov, who's undefeated in climbing. You got the Dynamite Chris Colbert. Lamont Roach Jr. is there. And then you got the doorman, Francisco Vargas. And then also, don't forget WBO champion Jamel Herring is lurking. He's locked in, he's loaded. So, I can't call it in this class. I mean, all of these fights could be good. Santa Cruz, Berchelt, Herring versus Berchelt, Diaz Jr. versus Berchelt. But somebody needs to fight Miguel, so I'll keep him. I'll keep him as let's say the static side of the equation. Valdez against any of these guys is a fight, and don't count out Roach or Farmer either. I mean, I think we could get a Lamont Roach Jr. versus a Joseph Diaz Jr. fight in the future. You can't miss with this class. There's just so much quality within the top 25 of this weight class. Newly crowned WBA Super World Champion Colbert is going to be a star. He just, you can't go wrong. And then about a year ago or so, Vasily Lomachenko said he was going to come back to 130, which is this class. And he threw the name out there. He was like, he'd like to fight Berchelt. Vasily Lomachenko has no business at 135. These guys are huge on fight night, and I think he senses that. He's going to go and fight Teofimo Lopez, who's probably about 175 pounds in between fights. And Devin Haney, boy, I'm not sure what weight he is on fight night. And his body is growing. Haney's only, 21, I think. So, Gervonta Davis, we know he blows up between fights and then the night of the fight also. So, Lomachenko probably 126 would have been it. 130 would be his max. He's challenged himself, and so he steps to 135. And if he gets past Lopez, he may go back and fight Berchelt. Now the talks will start about, oh, he's ducking this, he's ducking that, but I don't think that's what it is. It's just in the past couple of fights, he's fought some giants and he's taken some hits, and he realizes as he gets older, sure, he can still outbox and outclass a lot of these guys, but the toll it takes on your body when those guys are 15, 20, 25, however many pounds bigger on fight night. But we'll see. But in true Lomachenko fashion, he's like, look, when I step back down to 130, I'm going right after the man. And then I'll fight the man after the man. I'd love to see him fight Colbert. That's speed and skill versus speed and skill. Colbert might not quite be ready, but then again, Vasily's up there, or he's getting up there age-wise. So we'll see. But feel free to comment below. Make sure you check out part 2 to this. We'll go lightweight to heavyweight. And just because the majority wants some of these fights I mentioned doesn't mean it's the one you want to see. So what fights do you want to see at these classes and why? So we'll cover lightweight to heavyweight next, and I'll catch you in the next one.